A blue flicker dances across the ceiling as I write, its reality uncertain. It slices thin beams of light into shadows above my desk. My room is silent except for my uneven breathing, my hand hovering cold and trembling over the keyboard. The hum is back inside the walls, swelling behind the drywall, demanding attention. I don't dare look up. I should finish contact reports by midnight, but the words coil in my head, tangled with dread. Half of these surveys feel like pointless filler, urban soil content, excess rainfall, ground radar logs from when I could still step outside the observation pond. I've been alone in this prefab structure for 26 days, except for the orb of civilian silence parked nearby, half buried in flattened sorrel. While fieldwork has always suited me, here the air tastes metallic and nothing feels right, neither my body nor my thoughts. I've always been cautious, methodical. I grew up in a quiet house where silence meant nothing was disturbed. My mother fretted over missed calls, shadows beneath my door. Bad news comes at night, she'd say. Be good or it'll notice you. Now every creak and crack in this box, wood stretching, plastic flexing, the faint shiver in my joints, reminds me she was right. Something waits to be noticed. My work has always constructed walls of data to support me, but here, routine blurs. I wake with strange markings on my forearms and no memory of sleep. 3 days ago, the humming began, faint, mechanical, oscillating between the sound of a refrigerator and distant traffic. I thought it environmental, maybe a new machine in the research station's power grid. Then my touchscreen monitors flickered, pulsing in an odd rhythm, blue then white out of sync. Looking at my hands, I noticed my skin rippling beneath the glow, shimmering between states, neither flesh nor light. Another anomaly surfaced quietly. I caught my reflection in the observation glass. Instead of melding with the farm's dusk, it showed another angle, a sliver of my jaw turning away while I remained still. I can still recall the grit against my tongue, the bite of my cheek to anchor myself. That was the last time I trusted my shadow. Later that evening, the air thickened. Static-coated surfaces, clinging to my arms and hair until my skin prickled cold with sweat. Reaching for the emergency radio, I hoped for voices. Instead, I heard my name repeated in a slow, deliberate pattern, too steady to be interference. Syllables stuttered through static in my mother's voice, coaxing me to step away from the controls. Pressing the receiver to my ear, a metallic ringing drowned out her words. I haven't touched the radio since. Last night, the lights dimmed and stayed low. Readouts dropped for 58 seconds, plunging the field outside into pitch darkness. Then the civilian sphere blinked to life, not with brightness, but an oily, swirling glow, as if something cold was burning inside. I watched through reinforced glass, breath streaming in condensation, as shifting, sharp-edged silhouettes revised my sense of space with every blink. Each hour since, discomfort crept deeper into my bones. The walls sweated at dusk, vibrating against my teeth with a sound I couldn't place. I kept the heater on high, but warmth eluded me. My tongue tasted copper. My teeth felt loose. At 3:07 a.m., the air pressed on my chest, thickening into a velvet heaviness that made each breath pulse through my veins. The faint heartbeat in my palms was no longer my own. The station's laminate floor, meant to mimic wood, no longer just lay beneath me. At unpredictable moments, it bulged upward in slow waves, not from tectonic stress, but like a beating heart beneath my feet. When I stand still, I taste the cold in my toenails, a deep chill sapping my strength. Observation logs are rife with erroneous readings, nonsensical temperature swings, humidity spikes with no correlating rainfall, frequencies untraceable to any transmitter. The ceiling light above my bunk flickers with a new rhythm. 4 slow ticks, too fast, a short pause repeating. I press my hand to my heartbeat. The pattern doesn't match my pulse or any machine here. The flickering escalates when I call for help on the satellite phone, static washing over my voice, whispers forming recognizable syllables I can't translate. Normal speech eludes me afterward, each word trapped on a grainy, metallic undertow. I dread dusk, each shiver, every drop of sweat, every bone-deep chill warning me that nothing here feels natural. The water has a flavor now, thick as oil. Brushing my teeth reveals a film coating the enamel, lingering long after rinsing. Now the observation window is wrong. Reflections misalign, glass softened by condensation, and what looks like greasy handprints, except my hands have been nowhere near it. At times, I feel someone breathing behind me, close enough for their exhale to fog the pain. I whirl, but there's only silence, interrupted by something damp drumming on the roof above. True terror struck an hour ago, piercing and unyielding. I heard a clean noise inside the civilian sphere, a sheet of thick ice snapping. Focusing through the telescope, I saw the geometry within shift again. A dark, irregular mass pressed against the glass, evaluating me with droning neutrality. My arms twitched as the shapes shifted, flattening out, almost bipedal but wrong. The mass pulsed in sync with the flickering ceiling light. 4 slow, 2 quick. Then came another sound, a viscous scrape, from inside the observation pod. I froze, my heart hammering painfully. Something was moving, tracing the structure's seams with what sounded like wet fingertips. I slid my chair away, muscles tense. The blue light above grew blinding. The hum became a howl. My voice was lost beneath the roar. My mind registered details. The salt in the air, copper heat in my throat, the weight of a presence unfolding with each breath. The blue flicker thickened, dropping down into knotted tendrils, splitting shadows in every corner of the room. The pod's floor heaved, a cold, slick texture rising between my toes. Surfaces vibrated as if sharing a silent, foreign thought. My skin prickled. Something inside my jaw clicked open, pure command, a sensation of neither pain nor pressure. I could not move. The entity pressed through the observation window, flowing between glass and frame like fluid steel, an unfolding membrane flickering blue with winking black behind a thin skin. It didn't form a face, but I sensed its intent as the room folded around it. The hum was now inside my head. Then, with every light guttering and every device silenced, it moved, not toward me but with absolute certainty, like memory winding backward. The pod itself seemed to swell and shrink with its rhythm, the laminate floor rippling with frigid tides. The temperature plunged. I could see my breath hanging, not in the air but pressed flat against the blue, as if belonging somewhere else entirely. My left hand rose, pressing palm to palm with something cold and unseen, the space between filled with glassy condensation and the echo of my heartbeat. The entity's outline shifted into the shape my shadow should have cast, a stuttering form, always out of phase. We shared that space, static yet still unblinking. My skin burned with microscopic pinpricks as memories flared, not mine but woven into me, images of unfathomable oceans, infinite horizons, tasting coal and rust and stars. I blinked, I was still there, but the outline was gone. The blue flicker persists, crawling silently around the ceiling, the air never warming. My limbs no longer feel separate from the humming walls. Time stutters, so do I. It sometimes presses against the glass, waiting for dusk, peering through unfamiliar angles, shimmering just out of sight. My reflection struggles to decide whether to turn away or to watch me closer, blinking, receding only when the blue pulse stops. If, as you listen, the lights nearby begin to flicker in an unrecognizable pattern,